and it laid the groundwork for this IVF ruling.
And how many states have fetal personhood laws?
The Center for Reproductive Rights says that only 4 states currently have those laws, including Alabama, but 13 have bills that are currently being considered, everywhere from Alaska to Illinois to Massachusetts. So the lesson that reproductive rights advocates take from this is that it's not just about narrowly preserving the legal right to abortion or to contraception. It's also about keeping laws like these off the books.
All right, NPR's domestic extremism correspondent, Odette Youssef. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
This is Morning Edition from NPR News. I'm E. Martinez.
And I'm Layla Falden.
And I'm Michael Hill. Marketplace Morning Report is next. Then on Morning Edition, some election-denying Republicans are doubling down on false claims about undocumented immigrants being allowed to vote in the USA.
I absolutely believe this is intentional. They're taking them into counties across the country so they can get those people registered.
The story next hour right here on WNYC. We have some clouds hanging around this morning. It's 48 right now in the city, but we're on our way to another spring-like day. A high temperature all the way up near 70 once again with lots of sunshine. It's 6:51.
WNYC supporters include the Chamber Music Society of Lincoln Center, presenting Michael Stephen Brown on March 19, featuring music about love, including a breakup etude by Brown himself. Tickets available now at chambermusicsociety.org.
On the next All of It, when actor, writer, director Julio Torres came to the United States from El Salvador, he found the immigration system to be absurdly complex. He draws from that experience in his new film Problemista. He joins me to discuss. Plus, author and translator Jennifer Croft on her debut novel, The Extinction of Irina Ray. I'm Kushan Avidar. Join me for All of It, weekdays at noon on WNYC.
What working from home does to the ecosystem. Office space.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Twilio Segment. Segment brings customer data together for real-time insights so companies know each individual like they are their only customer. Learn more at segment.com.
I'm David Brancaccio. First, the White House is sending $300 million in new military aid to Ukraine. That's despite the fact that a bill to provide more to Ukraine is stuck in the House of Representatives. Where they now got the money is a teachable moment. Here's Marketplace's Nova Safo.
The aid is in the form of munitions as Ukraine tries to hold off battlefield advances by a better-stocked Russian military. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan says the money comes from previous congressional funding.
When we sent Ukraine weapons last year, we negotiated contracts to replenish those weapons in U.S. stockpiles. Those contracts came in under budget, so we have a modest amount of funding available.
In other words, the White House is using cost savings to provide stopgap military support, which Ukraine urgently needs.
When Russian troops advance and its guns fire, Ukraine does not have enough ammunition to fire back. That's costing terrain. It's costing lives.
Meanwhile, an additional $60 billion in aid for Ukraine, which has enough support in both parties to pass, remains stuck in the House, with Republican leadership refusing to put a bill up for a vote. I'm Nova Safo for Marketplace.
People work a lot from home now, right? Less office space is needed, distressing building owners. Loans for commercial real estate may not get paid back, making life hard at some regional banks that hold the loans. Real estate companies, banks, and this morning, let's talk about the folks who design and build office space and other commercial real estate. Here's Marketplace's Mitchell Hartman.
Manny Rodriguez runs Revolution Workshop, a training program for minority workers to enter the Chicago building trades. So he sees the construction economy from the ground floor up.
Look at how many cranes are in the sky, right? There's probably 2 cranes in the downtown area, and it's a little scary because that's a lot of the work.
Demand for Revolution Workshop's construction graduates was booming until the middle of last year.
We really saw a dip in private development, a lot of projects that we thought were going to get kicked off, and then it kind of got to a screeching halt.
At least the market for million-dollar homes is still hot.
High-end residential, obviously, that hasn't slowed. But commercial towers, high-end residential towers, that has all stopped.
Economist Michael Gukas at industry tracking firm Construct Connect is seeing a similar trend nationwide.
We're seeing many more projects that are being abandoned. And I think that much of that has to do with the financial markets.
Interest rates are high and credit's tight. But not all commercial construction's doing poorly, says Richard Branch at Dodge Construction Network.
Things like K-12 schools, laboratories, life science buildings, data centers, manufacturing in there as well, thanks to the Inflation Reduction Act as well as the CHIPS Act. They're all doing very well.
But he says office construction will probably be in the doldrums until interest rates start falling and maybe more folks leave home and go back to work. I'm Mitchell Hartman for Marketplace.
A new closing high for the popular S&P 500 stock index, 5175, on a jump of 1.1% yesterday. This despite an inflation reading that was higher than expected. This morning, S&P futures are up, but just slightly. NASDAQ futures are down about 0.1%.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Palo Alto Networks. Palo Alto Networks delivers what's next in cybersecurity innovation to protect today's digital way of life. Learn more at paloaltonetworks.com. And by Schwab, helping people invest in ideas they believe in with Schwab Investing Themes, with more than 40 themes to choose from. More at schwab.com.
Time to take the Marketplace economic pulse, views from a range of perspectives. As the pandemic eased, people have gone back to traditional gyms. The International Health Racquet and Sports Club Association finds usage up more than 8% last year worldwide. What is this doing to, or doing for, a business model built on remote rather than in-gym fitness? Jeff Witherspoon is a retired Army officer who got his MBA, who then founded what's called E2M Fitness, stands for Eager to Motivate. Mr. Witherspoon, welcome.
Hey, how's it going?
You know, when you're thinking a fitness program that you don't have to go to a gym, but even if you went to a gym, I think of paying monthly.
Yes, going to a gym, you're going to end up paying subscription fees, but I have people do an 8-week program where they pay me once and they never pay me again. I've had people that I've trained 3 or 4 years ago and they haven't paid me since, and I've still been training them today.
Well, how can you grow the business if people pay just this one time?
My whole thing behind my business model is the referrals, the word of mouth. And that just brings in new clients to me over and over again.
As a former Army colonel, during these workouts, are you in people's faces, drill instructor style, kicking butt?
Unfortunately, no. You know, I think there's so many ways to execute fitness, but I'm more the encouraging trainer.
Tell me about when you realized that you wanted to go to business school. I mean, given your long experience as a military officer, you figured somehow that business school was still worth it.
Yes, I knew that the military wasn't going to be forever for me, so I decided to go after my MBA at William & Mary.
Are you running into what I would call the Peloton effect? A lot of people jumped into online fitness during the height of pandemic, but as pandemic eased, some people either wanted to go to a place where they worked out with other actual humans. But using your company as a barometer right now, what are you seeing?
I think all fitness companies are seeing that Peloton effect. When online fitness was important to people to stay fit during the pandemic, people felt community by being a part of Peloton or being a part of my program. And now that the country's opened up, there is a little bit less of a focus on health and a little bit less on fitness. Our number 2 source of clients comes from doctors. That's really how we're surviving that slump from the pandemic height. When somebody goes to their doctor and their doctor says, hey, you need to be a little bit healthy, they don't have a plan to give them. Now, because I actually train thousands of doctors, those doctors know exactly what plan to prescribe to them.
Now, tell me about the biggest obstacle you faced when starting or growing.
It was hard to convince people that I really am giving them exactly what I say, because internet becomes a little bit salesy or gimmicky. It's a new challenge for me to convince them that I'm the real deal.
taking the economic pulse today from the vantage point of an entrepreneur, Jeff Witherspoon, founder and CEO of E2M Fitness. Thank you so much.
I really appreciate it.
The Marketplace Economic Pulse, regular checkups from a range of perspectives. There's more at our online portal, marketplace.org. I'm David Brancaccio. From APM, American Public Media.